All right, take a look here. When Oklahoma has the ball, we've got some numbers showing you what the Sooners have done on offense and what Tennessee's allowing on defense. Vols allowing 4.3 points per game, so giving up 2 safeties, which would be the offense. You look at those numbers for Tennessee, giving up 55 rush yards a game, 105 pass yards, 160 yards a game. Third down percentage allowing only 15%. Oklahoma's offense, only 30% on third downs. It's one to watch. Their run game has not gotten off to the start that they would like. Jackson Arnold is their 5-star quarterback. You heard Marlon and Daniel talking about them earlier. Jackson Arnold has not had the hot start that Nico Iamaleava has had at Tennessee will. But here's the thing, he's the first quarterback dual threat that Tennessee will have faced this year. I mean, no offense to Grayson McCall, but he's no Jackson Arnold. Arnold leads that team in rushing as well as passing. This is a guy that you have to be concerned about getting outside on you.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is a defensive line game that the defensive line's game is, hey, we're going to get to the quarterback, but we have to get to the quarterback responsibly. We can't just make and go around and do our own thing. We've got to work together as a group and basically close the walls on Jackson Arnold. And so they're going to have to play a disciplined pass rush. You can't just free will and do what you want to do. You got to say, I got to stay within my lane. If I get past his depth, I've got to retreat and come back. But it's all about contain, because if you look at their offense, you take him away, especially his legs away, and he's not making that, this is going to be a tough game for them to score a lot of points. So they have to, that defensive line front, the other way they will go about this is you take somebody like an Arian Carter and you say spy Arnold. And so that will also give them another chance. If he starts getting loose or getting out, expect them to take one of their linebackers and to spy him for that part of the game to take that away. But those are the things they have to go look at.
Let's marry 2 things here, because you're talking about the defensive line going after Oklahoma's quarterback. They've given up 9 sacks on the year. Jackson Arnold's been under duress. We also look at the fact that this is going to be a real test for Tennessee's secondary, unless that defensive line has Arnold running for his life all game, which he's been doing a lot so far this season. Bob, your thoughts on the D-line getting to Arnold and trying to protect that secondary for Tennessee?
You go back to Josh Heupel's first year, and what almost every decent offense they played, the quarterback ran crazy against that defense.
Yeah.
Because you did marry things up.
Even Kenny Pickett.
Well, Kenny Pickett,
yes.
Matt Corral did the exact same thing. So now you've got better defensive players, you got better athletes. So I think your 4 guys, or 5 if you put a spy out there, is going to free your defensive backs up to be able to play more man-to-man, play a little bit more press coverage, be able to get up on the receivers a lot tighter. And the thing is, if you're in man-to-man, a lot of time that defensive back has his back to the quarterback, and that's when they would take off running. Hopefully that is not going to be an issue. So you're going to be able to go multiple on your defense against these guys. And from what I've seen, and I've liked the first 3 games so much, has been the tackling of the DBs. And if you watch Kentucky and Georgia yesterday, at the end of the game, Kentucky started missing tackles. And that basically cost them the ball game. Okay, it was a 5-yard gain turned into a 12-yard gain. If you stop Oklahoma from doing that, go back to the stats that they've had, I think that puts you in a pretty nice place defensively. If tackle.
Jimmy, they've got some good receivers at Oklahoma. They've got one guy in particular they go to all the time, Deion Burks. He's 5'9". Yeah. He's got 22 catches already, 169 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tennessee took Kevin Concepcion of NC State out of the game. Mm-hmm. How much are you concerned about the secondary? I mean, again, you look at it, you say they took Concepcion. What more do they have to prove? I always want to see more. So, what's your feeling about the secondary going against this Oklahoma team?
Well, to me, it's still unproven, but I'm with Bob and the others. This is a better tackling secondary than what Tennessee's had. Burks is a transfer from Purdue. He is a good receiver. One of their other guys that I thought would be a good receiver for him, Nick Anderson's been hurt. He's a guy that per catch last year, his touchdown ratio was ridiculous. But they don't have anybody else that can really take the top off of defense. So I think the secondary, with the help of the pass rush, I think they're going to fare pretty well. But again, we haven't seen them go against a quarterback that's got 3.5 seconds to throw it, and how they would do. So the other part of that is Oklahoma, to me, is not impressing me with their run game. They ran for 185 against Tulane. More than half of that was from Arnold. They have decent running backs, but nobody that really scares you. They don't have a Dylan Sampson.
They had a young guy that got in yesterday. It's like 3 yards per carry, but I went to some of the Oklahoma sites this morning. They were excited he was getting in there.
Tatum,
Yeah,
27 yards.
Yeah, they're excited. So, which goes to the fact that they haven't found an answer yet.
Yes.
They're excited. Oh, they're going to the freshman who was like 9 carries for 57 yards, and that's what they're excited about.
So they got 16 points against Houston. They average less than 350 yards a game, right? I have trouble seeing them getting more than 20 points against Tennessee. Now, if you don't get more than 20 against Tennessee, Josh Heupel's record is pretty good, isn't it?
Pretty good. We showed it
Well,
earlier.
you go back to before the season too, Oklahoma offensive line problems. I think what you've seen from their offense, that's been borne out. You don't run that well, you've given up the 9 sacks.
And you knew it was going to be a questions. They brought in so many new guys on the offensive line anyway, and then you're banged up on top of it. So, all right, thanks to these guys. Bob, I know you got to get at it. Good luck to
Thank
the
you
Vikings.
very much.
Even from Smoky's Park, you've got to get back to that Vikings party. Good deal. When we come back, what are we doing next? Oh, you know what? It's handled. I'll send it back to Josh, Daniel, and Marlon back at WATE. They're going to talk about advice they may have for Nico. He says he likes road games. Yeah, well, now he's going to get an SEC road game in a loud environment. Let's hear from Marlon and Daniel on what life was like for them on the road in the SEC. We'll talk VFL experience next. Come on back on the Sports Source.